Hello and welcome to this After Effects certification preparation series of videos. I'm Luisa Winters. In this video, I want to discuss Objective 3.1b, which is to use the timeline panel to manage layers. We're going to talk about quality and sample, adding, deleting, locking, unlocking, renaming, reordering, managing labels, using switches and modes, etc. We have covered some of these things, but let's just cover them a little bit better so that if you get a question on the test about any of these things, you'll be able to answer them no problem. So let's go on to After Effects and let's open the same composition that we had before, which was called footage. Well, let me make this a little bit wider so you can read it. Footage, text, solid, shape, etc., etc. So to open it, double click it, and there it is. And if you don't feel like downloading the exercise files, that's fine. Just create a composition and put a couple of layers in there and make sure that the layers are a little bit different. So put like an audio, a video, a text, a shape, that sort of thing. All right, so we're going to start by talking about quality and sample. And right now, do you see how I'm showing the modes instead of the switches? So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to show the switches. And in here, one of the switches is this guy, which is quality and sampling. If I select this one, if I click on it, do you see these green ticks here? If I select these, see how this is draft now? I can actually go onto the layer menu and I can go to quality and I can change them. So look what happens to the icon as I change it here. So quality, best. Do you see how this looks like a little curve? And what that means is that it's rendering every single pixel during preview. During rendering, the quality by default will always be best. Of course, you can change this, and we're going to talk about rendering. This is that is the last objective. But just for now, since we're talking about these menus, these switches, just make sure that you know where to change them. So there is a switch, and you can change them, right? Let me make sure that you also get it from here, from draft, wireframe to best. So draft, wireframe, see, you don't even see it. Best, you get the little curve. Normal, obviously, right? And then layer, quality, bilinear, bicubic. And the default is going to be the straight line, like yay, which if you come here to quality, you're going to see that it's best bilinear, best bilinear. So listen, you don't have to remember all of these names. All you really have to remember for the test is that there are different quality settings that are controlled either by this switch here. And remember, the switches are turned on or off or modified on a per layer basis. So just because you did it to one doesn't mean you did it to everybody else. All right, so you need to remember that it can be changed here in the timeline or here in the layer menu. So layer, it helps if I actually select the layer. Layer, quality, either best, draft, or wireframe. And because this is a shape layer, notice how bilinear and bicubic are grayed out. Remember that in After Effects, if something is not applicable to whatever it is that you have selected, it will be grayed out. You won't be able to do it. So if they're talking about quality of a layer, blah, 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 and they tell you to change it to bilinear or bicubic or whatever, and you find out that is, oh no, it's grayed out, what to do? It's because you don't have the layer selected. The moment you select the layer, and then you go layer, quality, boom, available. So of course, due to the nature of shape layers, there are some things that you can't, improve on because shape layers are vector. So, they're not made out of pixels. Alrighty, moving on, let's talk about adding a layer. You can add a layer a number of ways. Layer, new, whatever. There's a ton of ways, right? You can also drag a layer from the project panel, say solid. I'm gonna drag this solid here. And there it is. And because this solid is on top of everything else, it's covering everything under it. You know, if I make it smaller, right? So if I click and drag and make it smaller, then it only covers that part. I'm going to undo that, Control Z, Command Z on the Mac twice, and there it is. I can also put this, say, at the bottom, and now it's being covered by other layers. So you can add layers by going layer, new, whatever, or by dragging them from the project panel. And by the way, almost everything has a right-click menu, right-click. So see, I just right-click, new, and there you go. Text, solid, light, blah, blah, blah. So easy peasy. To delete the layer, super easy, right? Not a problem. Select it, press delete, bye-bye. And you can select all of them, press delete, and they all go away, right? So I'm gonna undo twice, and there you go. So adding a layer, easy. Deleting a layer, self-explanatory, right? Let's go on to lock a layer. And you know, right now you might be thinking, oh, I'm not gonna lock a layer ever, blah, blah, blah. Actually, you will, because locking a layer serves one purpose, and that is to save you from you. Yeah, I mean that, right? So if you did something really cool and you keep on working and it's the same composition, blah, 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 it could be that you inadvertently ruin it. Lock it, lock it. And by the way, I'm just clicking and dragging. A lot of people do this, click, click, click. Yeah, don't. Click and drag, much easier. So yeah, lock your layers. This is, you did something, it's good, you're happy with it, lock it. That way you yourself inadvertently won't mess it up. All right, let's rename a layer. So see how this layer is named? This is a pre-comp. If I want to rename it something else, I can just select it, press enter or return, and type in the new name. And I can do the same with any of these. Instead of this is a light layer, light of my life. There you go. So you can rename almost anything in After Effects by clicking on its name, pressing enter or return, and voila, type in the new name, you're done. You know, I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to. You press enter or return, right? You see that text? It's already selected. It's already selected, just type. But no, this is what most people do in my classes. They actually click and drag to select it again. Why? Don't do that. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's already selected, just type. Alrighty, so moving on, let's talk about reordering the layer stacking orders. I mean, click and drag, you know, click and drag, reorder it however you want. Oh, I want the text to be on top. Click and drag it. There are shortcuts that you can use to do this. You can press Control and Alt, which is Command Option on the Mac, and see how I have this is footage selected. Control and Alt are pressed, Command Option, and now my down arrow. See how I'm just moving that layer down? I'm moving it up, blah, blah, blah. You know, so if you can remember that shortcut, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. Click and drag. And, you know, say I want for the text to be the topmost layer, right? And you click and drag and you find that you're having difficulty putting the text all the way up. Don't worry about it. Make it second and then move this one down. In other words, if you're on the test and they are asking you to rearrange layers and you're nervous and you're trying and you're clicking and it's not going, don't sweat it. Make it second and then move the top one. Just down one, you got it. So easy peasy. Now let's talk about the label colors. And label colors are very useful. You know, the default ones are great. But you know, it's not unusual for us to work with, say, 5 layers that are the same. Say, see this layer that is called, this is footage. I'm going to duplicate it. So Control D, and now I have 6 of them. They are identical. Maybe I want to change blending modes. Who knows, right? I want to do some stuff to them. And if I want to differentiate one from the other, you know, maybe this is more important than that or whatever, it doesn't matter. I can change the label colors. So you are purple, you are orange, you are cyan, you are fuchsia. I like that name, fuchsia. And you are, oops, I'm clicking on the wrong place. And you are red. Whatever. All of my labels are now different, and I can differentiate between my otherwise identical layers. So the label workflow starts becoming really, really, really important. So last but not least, switches. See the switches, the shy guy, this sunshine, more on that later, the quality and sample, the effects, blah, blah, blah. These are switches. It's a column. There is a button under it called toggle switches / modes. Click on there and you see the modes, as in blending modes, So this becomes really important. Now imagine that you're taking the test and you don't see that button for whatever reason. It's happened. Don't think it can't happen, because it can. What to do? Remember that these are columns. These are columns. Right-click the name of the column or the column header, whatever you want to call it, right? Right-click, go to columns, and then go. Oh, you need the switches. Boom, there you go. Now I'm showing switches and modes. You know, right-click again, columns. Oh, I need to see the keys. There you go. So never forget that there is always more than one way of doing things in After Effects. All right, so I think this brings us to the end of this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.